Now, concerning vocabulary size, we need two types of vocabulary. Two types of vocabulary. Every person possesses two kinds of vocabulary. One is called active vocabulary. The other is passive vocabulary. What's the relationship between active vocabulary and passive vocabulary? What is active vocabulary and what is passive vocabulary? Now, let's see. Active vocabulary refers to the words you can use in speaking and writing. That's why we say they are active, right? Because you often use them. These are the words you can often use in speech and writing. And what about passive vocabulary? Passive vocabulary refers to the words you can recognize in reading and in listening. That is, in reading, when you come across that word, you know it. But when you close the book, you forget. This is what I mean by recognizable. The words you can recognize. Okay? 你可以辨认的 the words you can recognize. And then what's the relationship between active vocabulary and passive vocabulary? This shows the relationship. That is to say, a person's active vocabulary is about 1/3 of the person's passive vocabulary. All right? Take for example, if your passive vocabulary is 6,000, your active vocabulary is how many? 2,000. If you know 10,000 words, I say if you know 10,000 words, that is passive vocabulary. So what is your active vocabulary? More than 3,000. More than 3,000. Okay? So usually in examinations, right? Examinations are usually based on the person's active vocabulary. But sometimes there are also passive vocabulary. So I know as teachers, quite often you say, oh, you should remember this, you should remember that. That word may not be often used. However, because in examinations, if you remember that, you can get 1 mark. Right? If you don't know, you lose 1 mark. So, but active vocabulary is much more important. All right, this is vocabulary size. Now let's look at another question. Can we learn a number of words at a time? Do you think you can learn 1 word at a time, or you can learn several words at one time? Huh? Usually, 1 word, 1 time. But actually, you can learn several words at the same time. But how? Huh? But how? The only way to learn several words at the same time is through word building, through word formation. That is to say, if you know the rules of word building, once you know 1 word, you can actually know a number of words, right? Because you can build the words yourselves. So this is how to learn several words at the same time. For example, compounding. How to combine roots into words. And then affixation. How to add prefixes and suffixes to roots to make new words. Right? If you know these rules, you can learn several words at one time. Now let's say vocabulary building. Vocabulary building. Because vocabulary building deals with forms of the words, not meaning. Deals with forms of the words. How to build words? To build words, we must use existing materials. The existing materials are usually called root. You know root. What is a root? every word consists of a root. Root is the basic part of the word. Is the basic part of the word. The meaning of the root is the major meaning of the word. Okay? Some words contain one root. Other words contain two roots, or a root plus an affix. Okay? So root is basic. Another part is called affix. Affix, according to the positions they appear, they can be further divided into prefixes and suffixes. Prefix means fix before. Suffix means fix after. Okay? So this is what I mean by prefix and suffix. Root plus a root makes a compound word. If the two elements are both roots, the word is a compound. For example, sun and rice is a compound word. Sun is a root, rice is also a root. The two roots are combined to make sunrise. This is one word. It's a compound word. Now what about root and affix? Root plus an affix makes a new word, and affix plus a root also makes a new word. In both cases, we make derivative. Derivative, 派生词. Derivative. The whole process is called affixation. 加缀法, okay? Affixation. The words are called derivatives. So here we have two processes, because these two processes are the most productive. There are also others, but comparatively others are not so important. So today we only mention these two. For example, noisy. Noisy is a root plus a suffix. It makes a new word, noisy. And disagree. Disagree is a prefix plus a root. Makes a new word, disagree. Right? So both words, noisy and disagree, are derivatives. Now let's look at some more words. You can say in these two boxes, all the words are compound words. And each compound word consists of two roots. Two roots. Do you know these words? Lipstick, right? Many young women use it, right? And babysit, 临时保姆, babysit, 临时保姆, babysit can be a girl, can be a boy, right? And then thunderstorm, makeup, a tummy ache. Tummy ache means a stomach ache. A pineapple, a fingernail, right? Toenail is not your hand, but your foot. And tiptail. So most of the words contain two elements. However, sometimes you can make words of your own. If you want a word which cannot be found in a dictionary, what can you do? I tell you, what can you do? All you have to do is to connect a phrase, even a short sentence, by hyphens. For example, take-home pay. Take-home pay means the pay you take home. All right? So, however, this phrase is connected by two hyphens. Take-home pay means the actual money you can take home, means the money without tax. Okay? It's called take-home pay. What about stay-at-homes? Stay-at-homes. No? Stay-at-homes means those people who stay at homes. For example, nowadays, many young people go to work in other places, leaving their parents at home, leaving their children at home. So their parents and children are called stay-at-homes. 留守人啊。And look at the next one. You can say this is actually a phrase. Jump on a chair at the sight of a mouse. 一看见那个老鼠在椅子上就蹦了起来。This is a phrase. However, we can make it a word. All you have to do is to connect the words with hyphens. So this is correct, all right? So you can say compound words are easy to create. If you want a word you cannot find in the dictionary, this is how you do it. All right? Very easy. These are the compounds. Compounds. Now let's look at. So since the compound consists of two roots, many roots are words themselves. All right? So the elements have their own part of speech. Their own part of speech. 词性. For example, heartbeat. Heartbeat, the first is a noun, the second is a verb. However, the whole word is a noun. Heartbeat. The second is a record breaking. The first is a noun, the second is a verb, break, plus ing, makes an adjective. The whole is an adjective. Right? So you can say the part of the speech of the elements and part of the speech of the whole word are quite often different. Right? Let's look at some more. Chain smoke. Chain is a noun, smoke is a verb. The new word is a verb. And deadline, dead, adjective, line, noun. The whole word is a noun. And then stockholder. Stock is a noun, hold is a verb, okay? It makes a new word. And then have not. Have is a verb, not is an adverb. Put together makes a new noun. Okay? You know, 穷人嘛 have not, all right? Have nothing. And then dog tired. Dog is a noun, tire is a verb, and then ed. It makes an adjective, right? So you can say the part of speech of the whole word quite often is different from the parts of the speech of the elements which make up the word. Compounding. Just now I said compounding is very productive. Very productive. Quite often, if you know one word, you can make quite a number of words. Look at this. You know the word proof, all right? And you can add a proof. You can combine proof with another word to make a new word. So you can say accident proof, bullet proof, 防弹, dust proof, 防尘, leak proof, 防漏, rust proof, 防锈, shower proof, and frost proof, 防冻, sound proof, 隔音, rain proof, 防水, fire proof, 防火, fool proof. You know, we say 傻瓜相机 is called foolproof cameras. You do not have to use your brain at all. This means foolproof. 傻瓜相机 does not mean the 相机 is used by 傻瓜. Okay, simply means even a fool can make use of it. Okay, you don't have to use your brains at all. So this is the, and then heat proof. 防热, 隔热, waterproof and windproof. All right. So you can say if you know the rules, you can make a lot of words using the same form. All right. Now let's come to affixation. Let's come to affixation. You know, affixation deals with new words created by using roots plus affixes. Right? For example, You know the word center. You know this word. If you know this word, you know a number of words. Why? Because when you add al, you make an adjective. When you add ly, you make an adverb, new word. When you add ize, you make a verb, right? And then when you add aton, you make a new noun. So if you add the prefix d, again you make a new word. This is also a new word. So you can say, how many words do you know, right? So if you know one word, center, you can know all these words, right, without any problem. So you can say, word building rules are very important. When a suffix is added, pay attention, this shows the rules. When the suffix is added, the new word belongs to a different class. Do you see what is meant? If you add a suffix to the root, the new word belongs to a different part of speech. But if a prefix is added, you make a word of a different meaning. You see what I mean? When you add a suffix, you make a word of a different part of speech, but the meaning is similar. All right? Yes. But if you add a prefix, you make a new word. The new word has a different meaning. All right? So you can say prefixes change meanings of roots. Suffix change part of speech. All right? Remember that. When you add a suffix, the meaning is similar, but only the part of speech is different. However, if you add a prefix, the new word has a different meaning. All right? So this is a rule. Now let's come to the third part, vocabulary development. Just now we talked about the forms. Now let's come to meaning. Actually, both are important, but comparatively, meaning is more important. Because the word has the same form. However, the same word can have different meanings. Is that right? So it's much more complicated. In this section, we are going to discuss denotation and connotation. Most of the words have denotation and connotation. Some words have only denotation. Some words have only denotation. For example, technical terms. Technical terms have only denotation. They have no connotations. But the common words have both denotation and connotations. People say, what is denotation? What is connotation? I know, some of you don't. What is denotation? Denotation refers to the literal meaning of the word. To put in simple terms, literal meaning. 字面上的意义. In other words, this is the meaning you can find in a dictionary. So when you consult a dictionary, quite often you are looking of denotative meaning. So that's the denotation. And what about the connotation? Connotation is not found in a dictionary. Connotation are additional meanings added to denotation. Okay? Because of the denotation, you may have a different association. 联想. That different association is the connotation. So I will tell you exactly what it is. All right? Now let's look at two words. This is the first part. The second part, sense relations. In this part, we are going to look at three sense relations: synonyms, antonyms, and hypernyms. Now let's look at denotation. Denotation. Denotation can also be called denotative meaning. This is one kind of meaning. So connotation can be called connotative meaning. All right? Now let's look at two words, two simple words. One is a home, one is man. Both are very familiar words. look at the meanings. Home has 4 meanings. Which is the denotation? Man also has 4 meanings. Which is the denotation? Because I have already marked, right? The denotation of home is dwelling place. 住住地, 住居地, 居住地. Right? Anyway, so you know what I mean, all right? So this is the place where you live. This is the denotation, all right? Every dictionary has this meaning. But home can be related to many other things. For example, when you think of your home, you may immediately think of convenience you enjoy at home. At home, you find everything is convenient. But far away from home, you find everything is so difficult. Is that right? But this meaning is not in the dictionary. Another meaning is safety. Because at home, you feel you are defended. Out of home, you feel dangerous. Is that right? And then at home, you have your friends, your relatives. We often say, oh, I'm so homesick. Why are you homesick? Do you think you are homesick because you are thinking of your dwelling place? No. When you say, oh, I'm homesick, you are homesick, you are sick, not because of your home, but because of your, for example, husband and wife, children, parents. Is that right? You miss these people. You do not really miss that house. All right? So that's why you are homesick. Why some people are homesick, some people are never homesick? Why? Because those people who are homesick, because home means so much to the person. If the home doesn't mean much to the person is never homesick. Is that right? Because different people have different homes. That's why some people run away from home. Okay? And what about men? What about men? You know, the denotation is male adult. Male adult is an adult. 成人. This adult is a male, it's not a female. Is that right? So this is the denotation. But man sometimes is related to strength. Compared with a woman, man is stronger. Is that right? Man has a strength. Compared with a woman, man has courage. That's why in time of danger, men always go to the front. Right? And then, however, men sometimes are careless. Is that right? That's why in doing examinations, girls usually have a higher score. Because boy students are careless, more careless. I said these are in general. In general. Now, here I give you one sentence. You are a man. However, I say be a man. Do you think that this is correct? Be a man. You are a man already. I still say be a man. Why? Do you think I use the man in its denotation or connotation? That's right. You are a man. You have all the features of a man. However, you do not behave like a man, because a man should be courageous. Man should be powerful. But you are so timid. All right? So that's why I say be a man, means be bold. This doesn't mean you are not really physically a man. Physically you are a man. Spiritually you are not a man. Okay? So here I say be a man, we use man in its connotations, not in its denotation. All right? So you can say both meanings are important. But of course the most important meaning is denotation. Without denotation, there are no connotations. Right? So in this, among the meanings of these two words, apart from number 3 of home, number 2 of man, all the rest are connotative meanings, possible connotative meanings.